So this is the TOR Hangout number 8, believe it or not, and it's been 8 weeks of lots of fun stuff sharing, and we're going to let everybody introduce themselves in a second. But before we get started, and this is going to be a hard one because it's been a wonderful weekend. We just got done with the weekend stress test that a lot of people got a chance to play in, and a lot of people are excited, and so we want to make sure that we put out that we're going to do our best not to break any NDA, and that might be difficult because we're so happy. There's some I'm not going to say this for sure, but a little bit of fudge room, but we want to make sure that we don't get ourselves in trouble, even though we are so happy. You're listening and watching the TOR Hangout. This is a community-run Google Plus Hangout about Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I want to welcome everybody here. Let's go ahead and start on the left side of the window and introduce yourselves. And as you introduce yourselves, tell us what your favorite color is.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, my name is Andy Scott. I go by the handle Andy Scott on Google Plus, and tonight I've overcome my difficulties with sound. I found a USB mic to plug that in and get that fixed. Favorite color? We will just say white tonight.
There you go.
I called it.
Well, your turn, Dave.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh, Dave Traney. I'm happy to be back. I haven't been with you guys in like 2 weeks, maybe 3. So this is awesome to be back. And I was hoping Mike would lead with, do you, what is it, keyboard turn or mouse turn?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not touching that one again.
Yeah.
That was
nice job, Mike.
Wow.
I think, my favorite color is blue, and I'm happy to be back.
Good to have you back.
Hi, I'm JJ. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, and my favorite color is pink.
Oh my gosh.
And you can call me girly girl all you like. I like pink.
She'll kick your butt.
Yeah, and I like men who do the dishes.
Oh no.
Ouch.
Actually,
Hey guys, I'm John Gatt. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. My favourite colour is red, and run SWTOR.com.
Welcome, first timer.
Nice.
Hey everyone, it's Johnny with Sith Vengeance, Empire Guild, and my favorite color is red for Sith.
The mustache.
Movember.
And another newcomer.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and my favorite color is purple.
Okay, purple. And I'm Mike Norton. My favorite color is blue, and we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started, guys. We got a little rundown here. This has been a big week. How many people were excited about getting in? Well, actually, how many in the Hangout tonight were in the weekend beta?
Me.
well,
So everybody, awesome. Oh, hey, we've got somebody who does dishes in the chat room.
Yes.
It was a very exciting time. You know, I thought the coolest thing was actually before the beta hit and everybody got their invites. It was like watching a bunch of kids on Christmas morning. The Google Plus threads were really... everybody was so excited and ready to do it, and even Twitter was, so it was really cool. But with that, I want to make sure that we give some room for that, because we're going to talk about your experiences and all that. But first of all, let's go over the news that's happened. And thank you, Andy, for putting these together this afternoon, and then we got everything set up. First thing is the beta signups for the pre-11/11. There was a little bit of confusion about that when they sent out the invites, and everybody was getting ready for this weekend's beta on the 11th. And then also there was another round that went out about a future invite. Who can address that and try to clear up that whole confusion? Because a lot of people were like, I can't get in. It won't let me play.
yeah. Andy, you want to go first, or I'll take it.
Sure. I got my invite, the regular weekend invite. I did get one of those. I didn't realize it until that evening. It got filtered somewhere down in my Gmail. But I was getting all ready here on Thursday or Friday. It was that they came out on Friday, and I noticed my friends on the social networks were saying they're getting invites. So I was like, great, we get to play this weekend. Then I noticed my wife popped up on her email too. She got one, so I called her and let her know she was very excited. But then when you read the fine print, exactly how it was worded, you realized that you were invited for a future upcoming test, which they've said on the FAQ on that will be a few weeks from now even. So it's not like that's even, you can't really count on that being next weekend that you'll get to play, but they said you will get to play in November. So I suppose that's got to be the weekend after Thanksgiving for that test.
That's the large-scale open, right?
Yes, I believe that's the large-scale open, and then I also read some fine print somewhere that test will be the last beta test before the launch of the game, I believe.
Exciting.
So that means we've got one more weekend here, which I believe is the weekend following Thanksgiving weekend, or Thanksgiving Day, the 28th. Or no, that's the Monday. But 24th, 25th. So it'll be on the 25th will be the last beta, which pretty much everybody and their grandmother will get to play. If you ask to be in the beta before 11/11, you are guaranteed a slot. Plus, they are giving away. I just saw one of the mini game sites say they had Joystick said they had 75,000 invites to hand out. So it seems like everybody, should be able to get into this test. That's what it's for. It's a stress test.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm going to give the negative spin because I thought it was, and I'm sorry, but I thought it was poor timing. It was absolutely poor timing. They had just released, like Andy and a bunch of other people had just gotten into the beta, and Johnny for this weekend, and JJ, and then on that Friday you slammed the entire community. I mean, everybody, even accounts that were already in the beta, received this email, and the very first wording in it is your account has been selected to participate in an upcoming beta. And it took, within minutes, that server went down. I mean, their website went down. It brought everything down, and it brought it down on themselves. And had they waited till like Monday or Tuesday to send it out, it just would have made more sense. But to do it like that Friday, I just thought it was dumb because, you're not going to let these people play this weekend, and it wasn't going to be the following weekend, as Andy said. It was just very poor timing, and I don't know. It was mass confusion and mass chaos.
It was because it was funny how many DOS attacks we got with that, and then also with the initial beginning of the beta, everything going down. So it's interesting how many people rush to the forums.
Yep, just to check and try and download something that they weren't actually eligible to do. So that's my take.
Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Greetings, everybody.
Good to have you.
I'm Soul Stitch, in case nobody knew who I was.
Awesome.
Hey, Mike, I want to add one thing on that is that one of my accounts received an email saying that I'm registered for a future test. Right. There's no other information, okay? Then because I have two accounts. So I was able to play this weekend on that other account. However, if you get a claim code from, let's say, Massively, your account will register under that code and say that you are registered for event number 1. So I don't know what that means, whether there'll be an event number 2, but that's one interesting thing.
That brings up a good point. One of the confusing things with everybody thinking this was the weekend that they were supposed to be in is David Bass did put on the forums, and we're going to link this later on. He says, just a reminder that if you were a registered member of our website on or before November 11th, 2011, you will be invited to the future weekend test, regardless of whatever you received an email last week or not. Please do not take beta keys off of any external websites if you are already a registered member of our site. Let's leave them for the more needy, please. And that's directly from David Bass, because like Andy said, there are thousands of invites out there. IGN, like you said, has 75K, Massively has 75K, ZAM has 25K, and I just started losing track. So there are going to be a lot of people, and remember that those are really for those who weren't registered, which all of us are, and so it's going to be huge.
I'm going to go. That's silly because no one's going to see David, or a lot of people may not see David Bass's comments, and they're not going to go to the forums. I think once you get in the beta, you don't go to the forums, and even people who are in this weekend may not spend that much time there anymore. So for him to come out and say that, the majority of the people may not see that, so they're going to go out and grab one anyways because they want to guarantee a spot in the beta.
Well, they're putting it everywhere because the David Bass's yellow post had it. It's also on Twitter, several places. And
Well, that's a good point. You say they put it everywhere, but if they really were putting it everywhere, they'd use it the best place to get attention, which is people's emails. You're waiting, you're wanting to see what's next on the beta when things coming up, and that will grab your attention. So they should really blast it out by email.
They should, and and Andy's right. Also, too, I mean, people don't actually, read as Friday proved, because the first line of that says future beta or future. What is it? Future. I can't remember.
Yeah, so why would it say future test when if you register a beta key, it says event number 1?
Yeah. So people are going to grab them, they're going to plug it in, and they're going to hope they get an event number 1, and then also a future test too. So people will still register them.
go ahead and jump in whenever anybody wants to say anything, by the way. I know we got a lot of new folks. You're fine, Dave.
I think the new folks need to introduce themselves.
That's right.
Name and color.
And color.
The two Michaels. We're Michael overloaded today.
Soul Stitch. Just call me Soul. Man, I'll change my name.
Okay.
No, I can't. That's it. You're just going to have to remember. That's me. So, does there any word on when the next beta is?
There is.
Or just soon?
There is not yet. We were kind of speculating on that, and some people think it's going to be Thanksgiving. They're running out of time, so we'll see.
Well, that's the thing, is that BioWare doesn't do anything that makes sense, so of course it can't be Thanksgiving. I mean, that should automatically be removed from everybody's speculation.
Actually, it might be Thanksgiving. You never know. They might actually trump America's family holiday. I mean, they literally might go after
Well, they
it.
are screwing Christmas, so okay,
True.
that makes sense as well.
Take 2 holidays out. Oh my God.
Like, what, BioWare's dominating holiday season?
At least U.S. holiday. I know everybody not in the U.S. is going, what's the big deal about this Thanksgiving?
Yes. Turkey. I'll eat it while I'm playing SWTOR.
Another news item before we get on to the stuff where we can really let go is Revan comes out tomorrow. This is my Revan comes out tomorrow face. Oh, I can't wait. Anybody else excited about Revan coming out tomorrow?
No.
Wow.
I didn't even know until you said that. And I'm even assuming you mean a book.
It is a book. It is the latest.
Or audiobook.
I'm getting it from the library, so I'm number 6 on hold because I'm not paying for a hardcover.
I'm getting the audiobook, and only because I had iTunes credits. So, but
They should have released it 2 months ago, though. It's way too close to the start of the game coming out, in my opinion. And there's just way too much gaming stuff going on in November. Who's going to have time to read it?
well,
Maybe that's the point, is they're trying to dominate the attention of the gamers. So, like, Skyrim comes out, they do this open beta, so people are still thinking of SWTOR.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? That's right. And also, the day Skyrim comes out, they flooded. that email too. That email came out the day Skyrim came out.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And wasn't it the day after Blizzard announced they were
Yep.
pushing back Diablo 3 on BlizzCon that they're like, oh, well, hey, we're coming out before Christmas, so look at us.
Yeah, and they what was it? What else did they do that day? They did something else. Oh yeah, the media NDA. Keely, remember Keely was talking about the NDA release right the day before or the day of.
The press embargo, yeah.
Yep. This is twice. Wow, these guys are sneaky.
they're
sneaky.
smart. They've got to keep it out there. I mean, if you look at the numbers already, it's going to be an incredible launch. So let's go ahead and move it down into the Friday update real quick. Get that out of the way, because I'm sorry, I'm going to get in trouble. I thought it was another kind of a meh update. The update was choose your side, Inquisitor versus Trooper. Anybody really excited about that? What'd you think of it?
I think the narrative on when they're discussing that, it seemed that they're really sided towards Inquisitor. I think in past verses, they kind of both, it seemed equally balanced, but it seemed, I don't know, it was like, maybe it was just my opinion. I felt like 3 guys were voting for the Inquisitor, where only 1 guy was defending the Trooper in that. Or maybe they just gave more camera time to there, but it really seemed stacked in that odds.
And one of them was
how they're describing
Daniel
it.
Erickson's abs. So nobody else was really excited.
Operative.
I thought the Inquisitor looked fun. She looked evil and sinister. That appealed to me. My only gripe is that, and I've said this before to people, is I hate her outfit. The shoulder pads are just ridiculous looking. She looks like something out of WoW. And I was not impressed.
Yeah.
I like the first one better. The first one was what, Jedi versus Bounty Hunter, and I thought that was more interesting. And I agree with Andy. It seemed like all the guys that you know that have done media stuff before were doing the Sith Inquisitor, and then people who you never met. I mean, they were great. They were good at what they did. I don't know. It was just one. It was one-sided, but it was still good though.
Yeah, but coming out over the next month, you've got to understand that everything's going to be marketing.
True.
Virtually, I mean, look at how many Sith Inquisitors there were for the weekend beta. Like, that's all I saw was lightsabers swinging at me everywhere I went. So every move that BioWare or EA makes between now and launch is going to be a marketing move. That's no longer just, for the spirit of gaming.
Yeah,
it's
strategic.
Maximum sales.
And they need to also hype up that Trooper class too and get some interest in it. So.
Right.
For balance too.
That's for balance purposes, but for marketing purposes, think about they don't get to say anything without Stephen Reed's approval. Like nothing gets said just all willy-nilly opinion like. So that's what's going to be happening from now until
if it does, they get chastised pretty quickly.
So somebody gets a hand in the back of the head.
You want to get what? A Twitter account? No. We got.
That was James Owen.
All right, what else? Anybody else excited about that? I thought it was fine. Yes, they are playing, trying to get some interest and excitement out there and everything. But I think the biggest thing is the interesting thing that happened as soon as the weekend started. As soon as it was 5 CST on Friday, all the social media outlets kind of got really quiet. At least the ones that most of us pay attention to because of Star Wars: The Old Republic.
All my social networks went quiet.
Everybody was busy playing, so they released that. It's like, I didn't even look at it, honestly. I didn't watch it till today, so.
On the website side of things, traffic went through the roof on my website over the weekend, and one of the trends I saw was Inquisitor and Jedi Counselor pages on the website doubled any other inquiries on the website. So
sure, there's a lot of people trying to figure this stuff out there, and we got to remember this. Everybody's now talking about the future stress test that we've got going on. This was a huge test in itself, bigger than a lot of people have seen. The guys on TORcast, I was listening to their podcast this morning. They actually made a really good guesstimation that this beta test we had just this weekend was probably larger than some games' launch events.
Yeah. So what number do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
250?
I would. Can we say what we?
We can guesstimate, but we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
I would say less than 150,000.
Okay.
I mean, the servers that they had, and I'll say it, and Mike can beat me out. On Saturday night, all of them were red. So there.
Yeah.
They were all maxed.
Which is what they stated they were going to do, a stress test. So that's okay.
Yep.
I think one of the points of the weekend, I wasn't actually playing during this time. I think they did a force of reboot for everybody to try and really hammer the servers at once and see everybody logging in at once.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so they are really stressing things out, and they're trying to find every opportunity to improve upon things. So it should be really encouraging for anyone that's looking for a smooth launch that they're trying everything they can, and I think they're going to do well. There's going to be bumps. You can't have a flawless launch. That's just not going to be possible with the amount of interest in this game and the sheer logistics of how many servers they'd have to have ready and willing to go. But
right. Now, let me. I'm going to pick on Stephanie a little bit because she's not been able to get a chance to get in here, and she rolled her eyes. What did you think about? We're jumping ahead, but that's okay. She's been a beta tester in quite a few different rounds, right?
Yeah.
And besides,
3.
Besides saying, how do you think it went with all these people in there?
It wasn't too bad unless you were trying to get on one of the busier servers. Then you were kind of stuck.
Yep.
In the cog.
The cog.
Stuck in the cog.
The cursed cog.
We could talk about how name plays a role in
Oh, yeah,
your future congestion.
you can, because I think they even came out and they told people. I think even Georg Zoller on Google Plus said, "Hey, people, whoa, go with a silly naming server as opposed to the cool names."
Well, that's right, and you know, it was definitely trying. And the interesting thing is everybody that was complaining about the queues, which, you know, this is a huge game. I keep saying this. This is Star Wars. Okay, this is a huge IP. People are going to be interested in this game simply because of that. And so when everybody comes into the game, all these new folks to MMOs and everything, it's going to be an incredible amount of folks. And I have to tell you, without breaking anything, they've actually kind of talked about this, I hope, but I was very impressed with how stable even those really crowded servers were once you got in. I say kudos to BioWare. They are doing their homework, and I'm more convinced that they are going to be ready for this 15th, 5 day before launch, and then on the 20th.
I agree. Once you got past the whole queue and the cog, it was almost like regular beta. I didn't notice a lot of lag.
So I did have some issues, but I'm pretty sure it was my machine. So it just showed me some things I'd need to work on.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to get more. Go ahead, Andy.
I was just saying, any poor experiences I had too. I've mentioned on Google Plus. There's unfortunately my best gaming machine in the house right now is my laptop, which is about 2 years old. Didn't handle as well as I thought it should have. I encountered some issues, but I trust those are going to be ironed out either on my end or a different actual gold build rather than the beta build.
Okay. Let's go ahead and really quickly, I'm going to cover the yellow posts that we've had through the week, and then we're going to get to this where we're going to talk more about your feelings and how you enjoyed the weekend. There's been some movement on the dev tracker. A lot of it's been kind of centered around the beta and then also about the upcoming beta and everything going on there. So not a lot to go on. There's going to be a 4-hour maintenance tomorrow that they're taking the website down, so I'll expect some more things that they're doing on the back end. And what I didn't mention above, several of us should have gotten emails already about changing your password. They're starting to roll that out actively at the moment. So check your email addresses.
Just reset this morning, yeah.
Yeah, so you're going to want to do that and get that taken care of so that you don't miss stuff. So the dev tracker's been kind of quiet, but there is one thing that this is related to Google Plus, which I'm going to cheer Google Plus in a little bit. On a thread that I think Casey over at Terrific Podcast posted, got some really, really good feedback in there. He asked, what are your biggest concerns about Star Wars? In there, somebody had mentioned that they got into the beta and a friend was in a guild with supposed BioWare employees in it. And in this thing, she found that it was very discouraging and there was rude behavior and all that, and it sounded kind of iffy. So I posted something, and Kyle Maxwell posted something that, it's probably not true. David Erickson answered this post, and this is something for everybody to take note. He said, so everybody knows BioWare policy is that we must be 100% anonymous when we play. Never can we identify that we work for BioWare, and we're all under personal accounts for testing. If anyone ever has evidence of someone claiming to be a BioWare employee while playing, please report it immediately to customer service, especially if that person is trying to use it to gain a game or social advantage. Most likely these are just people making things up. I've run into numerous people who made claims I knew were clearly not possible. So watch out for people making claims that they're with BioWare, because right there from Daniel, they're not. So that's pretty much the yellow post stuff. So now, the exciting, this week in review thing, a lot of us got to do the test, and this is going to be tricky, because I want you to talk about the exciting things, and I also want us to look at some of the things that maybe weren't as exciting. Unfortunately, the things that weren't as exciting sometimes will really skirt breaking NDA, so be very careful on that. But go ahead and share some of the stuff that you really were hyped up about and what you enjoyed and looking forward to.
I would have to say that throughout my gameplay experience, I never felt like I was leveling. Like, while everything was traditional MMO, I didn't ever once say that, oh, I have to grind up to that next level. I was anticipating abilities, but it didn't feel like going through. Like, I enjoyed doing my little side quests. I liked going out and doing that. I liked being part. I felt like I was actually a part of the landscape when I was out doing things. I felt like I was part of the Imperial. And that was one of the things that I was like, afterwards it was nice. Like, even though it was typical MMO, it was still, I never felt grindy while going up through the level that I got to.
Right. Okay, good viewpoint.
And the companions as well. Like, I've got exceptions. Like, I played 6 years of WoW, and I love pet classes. Like, that's my favorite thing. And I never felt like I had to micromanage my companion ever. Like, when I was out doing the quest, I treated my companion like a pet. And because the companion that I had was a tank companion, and I never felt like I had to do anything. Like she just did her job. Whatever I sent her to do, she did it. I didn't have to worry about micromanaging anything, using any of the abilities, like things that I've had to do in other games with pets. I didn't have to do any of that thing. I felt like it was a nice addition, not something that I had to worry about. She was never a liability.
And that's a great point, because a lot of people that aren't used to playing pet classes in other MMOs are kind of worried about that, and I have to concur. It works really well.
But definitely the depth is there for when you're ready for it, and that's really nice for companions.
I think the kudos to the community too. There was a lot of supportive people. I mean, people are always asking questions because you had obviously a lot of new people, and some of the people who have been playing it for a while were actually very helpful and very supportive. I only saw a couple people that were rude. But overall, I thought when people ask questions, I mean, you got some pretty decent responses. Now, there was some, I mean, JJ will tell you in a few minutes, hopefully, one problem that she had. And, it's been going on for weeks, months. But overall, I mean, the community on the server I was on, I thought that they did a good job.
Cool.
Like for me, I played Friday night, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. And I only got to level 9. I didn't even get to level 10. And it was because I was enjoying everything so much. Like, I was going down the path and I decided to look at the water someplace here and look over the edge of a cliff, and I just was enjoying the world so much. Like you said, I wasn't in a rush to level. I wish I could have got a bit higher, but I just wanted to enjoy every last second of it, and I did.
I'm on the other side of that. I was never, except for like one sequence where I saw this like massive engine rotating above my head that I thought was cool, I wasn't impressed by the scenery that I saw. Like, running around, I wasn't blown away as much as I was expecting to.
What planet were you on?
What were you playing?
Operative.
See, I was on Tython. It was nice.
Hada was.
We got to watch it because we're getting close. But yeah, I know we've had a discussion.
You can mention everybody knows the origin world.
Did you just play one character?
I played Hada and Bounty Hunter, so it was both on Hada. Okay. I mean, Operative and Bounty Hunter, and then Sith Inquisitor, which again, that starting area is not exciting at all.
Let's use a comparison. I'm going to use a WoW comparison. Different starter zones have different looks. I absolutely love the Blood Elf starter zone for its beauty and how it looks. I'm not a fan of the race itself, but it's a great starter zone compared to going to Duratar, Baron, all that. So yeah, it depends really on the zone you're in and how you're going to enjoy the aesthetics of that zone. But I could say...
Yeah. And Silver Moon is very large.
Yeah. Tython is gorgeous. I'm just going to say that.
That's where I was.
I think they set the atmosphere pretty well. After you, if you're, I guess, light side, eventually I ended up on Coruscant. And everything, as they described how beautiful Coruscant will be, they're telling the truth on that. All the stuff you see, the space lanes going by, the buildings are absolutely massive, huge. You look up and you feel like you're almost creaking your neck, squinting the camera that high, just seeing the top of like the Senate Plaza towers and such. But I did come to the realization that while it maybe is just easy for them to do is build a building and then take the scale and just go whoop, really big now, and then there you go, because you are running down huge corridors, and there's sometimes you're like, does it have to be this big? I just got to get up that hallway on the left and turn in my quest. But like they do a good job of filling you in and immersing you in that environment. The sounds, you can hear the cars zooming by. You know, I don't know if I was maybe just in the moment it was imagining it, but I thought I heard murmurs of NPCs around that could have been in the ambient noises, but you really feel like you're there, and it's really neat how well they built the scenery around those things.
Awesome.
Now, having said that, you just did remind me of something. I really enjoyed all of the side quests. Like, I really enjoyed doing them, and I really got into all of the intrigue and, you know, going behind people's backs and, like, all the different things that I got to do. So most of it when I was running around was probably the fact I was so looking forward to getting to that next guy to see what else was happening in the story that the distance between those two people is what just annoyed me. Because you do have to run a lot to get to the quest. Like, I mean, there's a lot of running. And
I had one moment that did jar me out of the whole immersion factor was when I ran across an NPC that was giving me updates. I played a trooper class in this scenario, and he was saluting me and everything, and it was odd because this is something I submitted as something they could change about the game, is when there's an NPC that looks exactly like the guy you just built. So he was just a little bit shorter, but it was like staring at my twin that was like telling me what I need to do next. And another thing with the voice acting, how the voice actors are all shared, so like all the male troopers have the same voice acting. In the trooper zone, I grouped up with someone else, and I was a tall, muscular guy with short hair, and this guy was a short, fat guy with dark skin and gray mustache. And we both won different roles when we were talking, but you had the exact same voice coming out of either mouth, which was also something that would just kind of throw me off.
That's how it was in Flashpoints when I was with another Jedi Knight Guardian, and it's like, wow, that's not how I sound.
Is there a list out there of the voice actors for the game? Because I'm recognizing, I think I know what games they're from, but I'm definitely recognizing some of the voice acting. Like, I know Carthanassi's voices in there during one of the missions, and I'm just curious.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling who my counselor lady is, but I just wanted to double check.
There's a lot of well-known game voiceover actors and whatnot, so yeah, there's a lot of them that you'll probably recognize since you're an avid gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michael put there in the sidebar chat that if you look up an IMDb for Star Wars, you will find voice actors, which is pretty neat.
What?
I think actually voice. By the way, just for me, the person who voices the character actually plays a role in which character or class I also pick too, because I think some of the voice work that they've done for some of the main characters is amazing.
Yeah. All right. What about some maybe some downsides, without getting into specifics?
Oh, downsides. There was just so much. When I finally got my chance to go in there and make my character, there was just so much that I learned and so many things that I had to explore and figure out. I don't know how many of you did crafting and gathering, and so this was my first test, and so it was just overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. A lot to take in 3 days.
Yeah, I did some crafting as well, and I noticed when I was scrolling up to the highest level crafting that I was looking at the stats, and it doesn't look like they had everything balanced out and all the classes represented.
Yeah, I had some concerns there too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that could have been they just didn't need to go all the way up to the highest scale level in the beta test here. They just flipped things on and had some stuff in there for you to check out.
Yeah, like in previous chats, we talked about the itemization and the mod system, and I don't know what version of the code they had for this test, but yeah, it didn't look exactly right to me.
And there's some situations when I was making choices on my turning in quests. Some of the choices that you make will either award you light or dark side points, and some of them are not that obvious. Mm-hmm. Like one of the turn of events, sometimes you'll talk to one NPC and then another will give you a different quest that depend on who you turn the item into will determine whether you're getting light or dark side. So if someone wanted to double cross the first NPC, I figure, well, I'll do that, but then I could double cross them and maybe I'll get extra awesome dark side points, and I got like light side points for doing that, and I didn't want that at all.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah,
actually
that happened to me once too.
on my operative, there was a lot of times where I didn't care about the light side or dark side points. My whole goal when I was doing choices was faction with my companion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's what I was going. I wanted to pick the
It'll
choice.
play a huge role. Yeah.
Yeah, that was what
Are
we
you
decided.
min-maxing?
No, I was doing that on my bounty hunter, where I was picking pure. Like I would mouse over to figure out which was the dark side choice to make sure that I got all those points when I was going through. But on I love my companion, and I just wanted to make sure I was always getting the right choices to make my companion happy.
And that's
did
another
that.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Dean.
I noticed when I was doing that too. You can mouse over your options, see where you're going to light or dark side, but it's almost a roll of the die on whether you're going to impress your companion at all, and if so, how much. And I noticed that once I kind of got a feel for how my companion preferred me to answer, I could honestly kind of step into that role and be the heroic, take orders and give out orders kind of trooper that I played, and it would impress my.
You mean it's all about story and immersion?
Yeah, how about that? But yeah, it kind of helped guide me to step in and play the role, to answer the way that they want you to answer.
I don't remember the last time in WoW that I took a quest and cared what my my tiger pet thought. So yeah.
That was something that I wasn't anticipating.
How high did your affection go?
Oh. I never stopped to look at the number because I think I checked once and I was like, oh, I'm never going to hit like 1,000.
Yeah, actually, I think it was 10,000. Yeah. And the highest I ever got in one swing was maybe 30. Most of the time, it was 15 or, one or two at a time, 1 point at a time. So it'll take you many hours to cap that out.
So I passed 1,000, and the result was not what I expected.
Were you going for the romance? As he blushes.
It did not happen.
If you can actually, wow, that's pretty good.
Well, think about it. Here's something to think about, though. You're going to have several companions by the time you get max level, and trying to work on the affection on all of them. This isn't necessarily a negative thing. Some might see it, but this is actually going to be, I think, for me, part of the grind of the game that you'll get into at that point. I don't mind it, but it's not a trivial thing where things happen right away. Kind of like when JJ was saying that she didn't even get to level 10 because she was enjoying it, and I mentioned last week that leveling to 10 is not a trivial thing in this game because you do get so involved in the story. So when you pick your AC, your advanced class, you better make sure that that's what you want to do, because I can't say the next part. So
right. Well, that's another thing though that I don't know if you're aware of, but there is a mechanic in the game that will help with the affection grinds.
Right. There are items.
Well,
right.
Yeah, they've announced gifts and everything else like that, like other BioWare games like Dragon Age and stuff like that. The companion system and your reputation with them is the same as other BioWare games. So.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I've never played another BioWare game, and I was actually never anticipating liking the romance. I thought it was dumb. I'm going to romance my operative companion. I'm just saying that right now. That's right.
BioWare makes you a pimp.
That's right.
All right. So what else? Good or bad? What are some maybe some fond memories of this weekend?
Well,
and how many of you are going through
You
Withdrawal?
just said
That would be the bad part.
See, I'm a Guild Wars 2 fanboy, so I'm not going through Withdrawal. But I'm looking forward. Like, to me, I was entertained. Like, the whole time I was like, hey, this is cool. I didn't think I was wasting my time at all during this whole entire thing.
I liked watching your posts throughout the week. You went from meh to entertained.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly entertained. Like, I'm happy with everything that I saw.
I enjoyed
Mike,
the
you
game as well. Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
Oh, I was going to say, Mike, you talked about it taking some time to get to 10. And one of the things I wanted to mention is if you're in a guild and you have party members on different planets, it's going to take quite a bit of time before you can hook up on the capital planet and then later have your own ships. So it's going to be very interesting, how are guilds going to work with this dynamic?
Yeah, I estimate the casual player is going to take a good 5 hours to get out of the starter zone plus. Especially if they sit around and just really enjoy it and see all you can do. That it's going to be, no one's going to. You're not going to see the vast majority of veteran MMO players just blast to 50 without enjoying themselves. I find myself turning every corner, picking up every quest, and that actually leads me into right in the final minutes of the beta as they're sending out the server announcements. If you got an hour and a half left and all that, I wanted to rush and get my ship, and that was the only time in which I started ignoring everybody that was not in my class quest lines, and I made it to my ship 10 minutes before the server shut down.
Nice.
So I just barely squeaked in.
I actually did that in a prior beta too. My goal was for the weekend to get to that point of the ship, so just so I could see it.
And did you go
I would have to say
epic?
One of the negatives, that if I had to come up with a negative, is a lot of my questing, without trying to, NDA, whatever, a lot of my questing felt forced single player. Like, it didn't seem like it, like a lot of it, like, because there's so many of the instances. And I remember every time I ran in, my friend, one of my guildies, was leveling with me. He was an agent as well. So we would go off, and it seemed like so much of our questing on the starter world was just single player. Like, except for the heroics, everything else kind of wasn't bringing us together.
Yeah.
And as you level and go through, I think that will be a problem. Like, it'll be not necessarily a problem, but maybe annoying for guilds. Like, when you're trying to level as a group, like in every other game you can. Here, like, okay, now we all have to go our separate ways for a little bit. Okay, then come back. And then separate ways, and then come back.
Yeah, the class quest is going to make
Yes.
it to where, unless you're the same class, you're going to have that separation. But I think people are going to find a way to make it work. I was very pleased, and this might be a breaking, but it's something I think that they want, that they don't mind out there, because they've talked about this with a lot of people worried, is you can go into other people's class quests, and it works. So I think
You
that's
can
gonna be
even
fine.
go into same class too.
Yeah.
I know it will work.
Oh, well, I got a warning saying that this is only for this Imperial agent or whatever.
Sure.
So.
Oh yeah, you have to.
You both have
I'll
to.
shut up.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. See, we didn't test it. We just did our own thing.
Yeah. I will say though, to that comment though, I think in the beginning, like the first starter world, it's generally more your story, and then once you go beyond that, I think the story components are spread out over the course of a planet or whatever. So you
Right.
get to
Like, by the end of the game, your class story only, I think this is a known thing, it's only like 10% of your story anyways. So everything else will be together.
All right, so along the same lines, what classes did you play, and which one did you find that you loved, and what's going to be your main come launch?
Did it change,
operative.
right?
Operative, I knew from beginning I was going to be an operative medic. When I got in, I'm not going to like NDA break, but I love operative. It just brings so much awesomeness into that class. I just love it. I am so happy with that choice.
All right.
Do you have a guild?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm an officer by guild.
Oh, Johnny.
Who else?
I did Counselor, Jedi Counselor, because I plan on playing Empire, so I wanted to try Republic. And I wanted to play something with Force powers, and I just loved it. I was the character I least wanted to play, actually, so that's why I did choose it. And I loved it.
Cool.
Loved it. And then I just went into my agent I want to practice making a character, so on launch day I can make a character quick and reserve the name. So I was just practicing making her look good, and then I thought, I'll just try it a little bit, and I was just hooked right away.
Yep.
Side question on that before we go on. How many of you actually logged in on the character creation deal, made your character the way you want it for launch, and wrote down all the settings?
That's what I did.
I just had that idea right now.
I did too. I've got it written down in my little notebook.
Yep.
All right, continue on.
You know what they'll do? They'll randomize it. Those guys.
Yeah.
Who else? All right, what class did you fall in love with?
I don't know if I fell in love with any particular one. I played a trooper up to level 14 or 15, and I played a Sith warrior up to level 10. I want to try all the classes still. I'd like to get out of the starter zone with each and every one, because each experience is so different, and everyone's going to have a different backstory that's written specifically for them. Is very intriguing, and it continues past the starting zone. So I did find, I think I like the range classes better with the trooper versus running up with the lightsaber and stuff. But I'll still play, melee classes with alts and stuff.
Force jump.
I actually did what JJ did. I was going to play a class that I had no interest in at all, so I picked the Sith warrior, and I fell in love with the class, the story, the companion. It was phenomenal. So BioWare, kudos for making something that you could become interested, invested in something that you don't think you have any interest in. So I don't know how to do it.
After playing a few characters to fairly high levels, this is my second beta I've been in. I've found myself kind of, juggling backwards and forwards about what classes I want to play. I think I've come to the decision that I'm going to level quite a few different classes up to high levels just because of the unique storylines. So the game's able to keep you, enthralled in the story for such a
That's
long
right,
time.
and that builds in a longevity for the game because you've got that storyline.
Yeah. I really liked the agent story and the bounty hunter story was awesome. Like I loved that story, but I could not get into the Sith stories.
Yeah, same here.
This definitely didn't feel like, okay, I need to replace this piece of gear and climb into the next role and find, it wasn't a gear chase for me. Playing and going through the story like Mike said earlier, it doesn't feel like you're grinding. It doesn't feel like you're a never-ending treadmill just for the next piece of gear. Now, maybe when level cap happens and we're all trying to gear up for our operations and stuff, you're going to see more of that. But it's going to take a long time to do that. And each and every patch that they're going to drop, just think about how much more story is going to come in those. And it's going to be infinitely more interesting to me. Wow, the story-driven MMO, who would think of that? But be more interesting in the upcoming patch of what stories come along in that patch, not necessarily new gear and a new operation that, okay, we blast through and beat these bosses, and now what do we do next?
Well, I'm not going to pat my...
Actually,
go ahead.
No, with that story, with how they're going to do the content thing, like, because I got so into the side quests and all the political maneuvers and stuff that were happening, like, out in the jungle, I could see that happening. Like, they can introduce entire arcs of, this group is now going to attack the Empire, or that group is looking for support. Like, that is an actual way that I can see them adding story content in future patches.
Okay. Who else? Did we not get anybody on what class?
I played a Sith warrior, and I thought the storyline and the gameplay, everything was just fantastic.
Okay. Now, Steph, what about you? I know that we've been doing this a little while. Have you solidified or changed your mind or anything?
For me, it's kind of hard since I've been able to play so many. I think I've almost played everything on the Republic side, and I've liked them all. Every last thing I've played, I have liked. So I went in wanting to be a Sentinel, and now I have absolutely no idea what I want to be because I love them all. I like some of the stories better than others. Like the Jedi stories I don't like as well as some of the others, but I like the gameplay. I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea.
And you played no Sith?
No, I haven't played a Sith. I played a bounty hunter, and I did like the bounty. I loved the bounty hunter. So
see, that's the one class that I haven't played.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now, for myself, I'm going to be a Guardian on launch because I'm going to be tanking, and I played around with Consular Shadow as a tank also, and I really like the style of the Guardian. But my healer is where I'm on the fence because I'm wanting originally a Sage, but now the Commando is really looking attractive to me, so I don't know where I'm going to go on that. But the great thing is we've got lots of time.
You just think their heels look cool.
Well, they do look cool.
You shoot people to heal them. I mean, that's awesome.
Okay, let's...
He's always calling people in.
There's so much more we could do, and man, the one thing that Andy and I have kicked around, and I think also Johnny and Dave have mentioned this too, is when the NDA lifts, we're going to have such a show. It's going to be nuts. Everybody's going to be going on and on. But I wanted to bring this. The reason we do this is because of the community and building up the community so that we have a great community that's not filled with trolls and everything else. And you all know from all my posts, I'm a huge Google fanboy. And the fact that Google Plus is really starting to grow with TOR and all the folks that are awesome. We've got some great quality folks engaged in conversations on this game that we're really anticipating. And this weekend, oh my word, I'm at a birthday party on Sunday afternoon, and I'm reading my Google Plus feed on my phone, and I see Stephen Reed actually answered one of my posts from like 3 weeks ago, and then he made his post. I about fell out of my chair. I laughed out loud, literally, and handed the phone to my wife and said, "Look who posted in Google Plus." The BioWare gang are really starting to come out on Google Plus. Now, Georg has been here forever, and he rocks. We all love Georg. And William Wallace has been posting. Daniel's been getting more involved. And one of the reasons that Steven is finally getting involved is we all woke up to that one post a couple folks did that somebody labeled an official BioWare site. And Georg actually got into that. And so they're paying attention. What do you guys think about having them engaging us in our favorite social media circles?
I like the connection there. I trust both of you since we're connected through Google Plus right now through the Hangouts, and I like the social network. I think it's very easy to leave quick replies. You can leave long-winded replies. Mm-hmm. I think the level of discussion is so much higher than what I'm seeing on other networks, whether it just be the maturity level of something that's been around long enough that all the trolls have come in to find somewhere to make their home, or such as Twitter is just too short to have continued conversations back and forth, and it's hard to follow a thread like that. So I think the way it's engineered is really nice. So I really think that this, as Google Plus just rolled out the brand pages here recently, once those kind of get a little more refined, and once BioWare or the Old Republic team does come out with an official outlet page for information, that could be another great way to engage. Absolutely. Just as well as Twitter brands of, they'll have entire teams of people watching a specific brand that will reach out as that brand and talk to people and engage with them. So I think it's builds a great community. It's nice that we're here at the forefront of it and trying to get off on the right foot, and that we are engaging with these people so casually back and forth. I think it's every bit as good as the forum engagement.
I think it's better.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
You can't hide behind a fake. Well, most people can't hide behind their fake avatar either. I want to engage people that actually have their real picture on there and something in their about page, and then you just connect a little bit better.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying everyone on Google Plus, to be honest.
Yeah. I think the one thing that Google Plus bugs me about, which is that circle sharing. Once you get, if you're not used to it, the spam that you get instantly until you learn how to filter it all out. It's a little, but I mean, like, I've created a circle that's just SWTOR friends, so it's like you guys and a few other people. And so then I always go to that one right away. I wish that was my default, and then I could go somewhere else.
It does take some getting used to. I've been talking with Jester over at R2DB and trying to get him to be more involved in the Google Plus community also. And one of his hang-ups is he likes Twitter because it's short and he can just ignore all the spam that comes in and just do stuff. And so that is something that happens. But many of us, we've already developed a way to filter that stuff out. I've got, I don't know, I think I have over 1,200 people in my circles, so that stream can be a pretty good fire hose. I tend to not read the main stream as much as I will use the SWTOR hashtag search to find new stuff and things that are important, and then when people tag you and whatnot. So there's a way to filter it down, but trying to encourage people and let them know, don't let that discourage you, because the power that we have with it, being able to then focus and put out output, updates to a circle that is specifically for that instead of everybody, like on Facebook, that's very powerful. And the pages, one of the things that I also want to do is encourage and talk about guilds that have already got their pages set up. One of the things that we need to do as guilds and other people, John's got a fan site, I think Dave does too, and we all have maybe some pages set up with this as well, is we need to let Google know that these are great and we're not the only ones telling this, but there's some other things they need to add, like the ability to add managers to it. Where Facebook still has an advantage over that, because I've got my guild page set up, but I'm the only one who can update it. I want to turn some of that over to some of my officers who do a much better job than I do at keeping that information abreast. So seeing how Google works, I know that's going to come, and we'll eventually have those features. But guilds need to get on there, fan sites need to get on there, BioWare, when Steven says they're looking into it, I think that they're really starting to see that the community is not as small as maybe a couple of them dismissed. We are a pretty good-sized community now, and they'll start, hopefully, get something official over here.
Very active community.
Very active. That's it. We can be engaged at a far deeper level, like you said, Andy, because we're not limited to the 142 characters or 140 characters. We can do a short burst, or we can do a long one, and some of them were. Which brings us to the BioWare Dev G Plus Ponage post of the week. I missed this. Andy found it when Georg had posted the best tip of the day. As we all know it, servers with cool-sounding names end up being full first in MMOs. Keep that in mind when selecting a server. If that was on Twitter, we would see that and move on. Gary Rogers, who's in our guild, Gary seems to really get Georg to respond this way. Georg mentioned, quick, everyone onto the Bink server. And Georg responded, I should suggest a server called Jar Jar. It would be a fascinating social experiment to see what kind of people end up on there. You don't get that on Twitter. I'm sorry. So rock on for Georg and his involvement in the Google Plus community. So, any other ideas or concerns or positives about Google Plus and our community that you guys have?
So, do you know, does the TOR Hangout page allow you to have more people in the Hangout?
Well, we've not been able to test that because it seems like today we've only got up to 9. So I don't think it's true. I've been kind of watching some other Hangouts that are in the stream, and I've not really seen any more than 10. So it could have been
the way that works.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
The way that works, I actually participated in one with just before this from one of the Google employees, and what happens is you get the 10 people in the room, and then everyone else watches via YouTube.
Well, that's right.
It becomes a broadcast on YouTube.
Yeah, that's where
it becomes a live broadcast.
Yes, it's the
live broadcast.
It's the on-air feature that is only available to a few. We won't go there. That's my axe to grind. That's why we're streaming on twitch.tv. I wish that we could get the on-air feature rolled out to more people so that we could then easily do that and have it be more integrated into the whole thing instead of all the stuff I have to do to get this streamed on the Twitch TV and everything. Okay. So make sure that you get everything registered. If you're a guild leader, we have a circle that we're sharing around, and I think mine's up to 23 guilds, SWTOR guilds, nice. Which is awesome. So get that stuff out there so we can get that posted around. Let's go ahead and get to our guild pimpage or site pimpage. Who would like to talk about something that they want to promote?
I'll go. I found an Empire guild. Awesome. I found them through G Plus, and we played this weekend together. We had a Mumble server, and it was really good because we're all on the same page. We wanted to do open world PvP, but we're all casual. We're all going to take our time leveling. No pressure. No A-hats. So I'm really excited.
Awesome.
Is it a
link
PvP
there.
server?
We're going to go PvP server.
Nice.
And doing PvP Empire. And like I said, I actually played with them this weekend, and I had a great time. So.
All right. Awesome.
There's only a few of us so far, but, as long as we have a few dedicated, that's all that counts.
Nice. Congrats.
All right, somebody else go ahead. I got to answer something.
I'll do a pimpage to all the Australian watchers out there for my guild. It's a Republic guild called Squad. You can find us at squadguild.com, or you can find more information on my site, dwarfface.com as well. But we're not into PvP. Some of the guys do PvP, but we'll be on a PvE server. We want to choose when we PvP, but and also we're not into full-on role-playing, but some of the guys might actually do a little bit of role-playing. So it's kind of a casual type guild. Some of us have been gaming together now for over 10 years since we met in Star Wars Galaxies. So if you're looking for a friendly, older guild, and you live in the Oceanic region, feel free to check out squadguild.com.
Awesome. Andy, are you getting these?
Yeah, I'm totally. You see, I'm type.
Awesome.
I'll catch you on the YouTube replay.
All right, Johnny.
Okay, so I'm Johnny with Sith Vengeance, and you can check out our website. There's a lot of information there. We're a casual guild, East Coast, but we do have a few West Coast, and you're more than welcome to join us if you're into playing the Empire and being in a casual close guild.
All right. Anybody else?
Shadow of Apophis. We are Empire. We will be doing raiding because it'll be something to do between PvP, but we are seriously hardcore dedicated world PvP players.
Awesome. Did you what did you name it after? Is it actually off of Egyptian lore, or did you actually go after Stargate SG-1?
Well, that's a kind of funny story how that name. We used to be Pirate Lords, but due to some drama, we became Apophis, and one of the officers suggested that because of the SG-1 reference. I didn't know about the SG reference, but when I explained to them, like that's one of my backgrounds is a cult and ancient religion, and when I explained to them what Apophis meant, it made more sense, and everyone was more excited about the name with all of the mythology that goes with it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Destroyer of the Light. Like what could be better for?
I know, it's awesome. It's a great name. I mean, the guys who wrote for SG-1 did their research, so they did a nice job.
All right. And Michael Alexander, sorry we didn't get a chance to get you introduced. And we don't hear you.
Hey, what's going on?
Howdy.
There we go.
Good to have you here. I know it was late.
Yeah. Yeah, I was at work. I'm home now.
All right, and we're with, there's four of us. No, three. How many of us? Three of us from Redeemed. I'm gonna let somebody else. Who wants to say something about Redeemed? Because I'm like biased.
I can say something. Here. There we go. That's all we need to say.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Thank
well
you.
done.
All right, guys. This has been, a great hangout. We're going to do it again on next Monday. We'll have this posted. I want to thank everybody. Is anybody in our chat room that has a guild that they want for us to put into the show notes so folks can find you? If so, we'll grab that. We will see when the next beta is, and it's going to be crazy. But I want to encourage everybody to continue to be sharing with everybody on Google+, and encourage the community there to be positive so that we have one of the best launches and the best pre-set-up communities for SWTOR as there can be, and keep letting BioWare know that, hey, there's a bunch of us out there that really want to help you guys out. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Oh, and last week, I know that there was a comment, I missed it, that Andy and somebody else were noticing that the image... My image is backwards.
No, the reverse image.
And it took me a while to figure out. It's because when you're looking at your own self, Google actually does a mirror image so you don't look strange. And because I'm streaming from my page, that's why it's backwards to what you guys are seeing.
Oh, wow.
So, just a side note. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll be defeating each other in combat soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night, because the pizza is on.
Later.
Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.